So far, we have seen different types of intermolecular and intramolecular forces that contribute partly to protein stability and folding. But none of them act as primary driving force for protein folding and stability. Why? Because they tend to destabilize in presence of water. So, what could be that force that acts as primary driver for protein stability and folding? So, it is nothing but your hydrophobic interactions. While discussing the interaction of water with apolar molecules, remember I mentioned that there is an increase in Gibbs free energy. Okay, meaning the delta G value is greater than 0. Now, Gibbs free energy can be increased either when delta H is positive or delta S is negative. Okay, what is the implication of delta G being greater than 0? Delta G is greater than 0 implies that the reaction occurs in a reverse manner, meaning products will yield reactants. If delta G is less than 0, then it occurs in a forward direction in the manner in which we want it to proceed, meaning reactants will give products. So here the increase in delta G or delta G is greater than 0 because delta S value is negative. Delta H here is negative. It is not positive, it is negative, which implies that there is a favorable interaction occurring between water and apolar molecule. However, when water interacts with apolar molecule, there is formation of a cage-like structure which entraps the apolar molecule. These are called as calthrate hydrates. This increases the order within the system, meaning the degree of randomness decreases. In other words, there is a decrease in entropy. Now, one important feature of hydrophobic interaction is that it is endothermic in nature, meaning the reaction proceeds only by absorption of heat or energy. So, hydrophobic interaction, the strength increases with temperature. Okay, so the strength increases with temperature and it reduces at lower temperature, which is not what we see in case of hydrogen bond. Hydrogen bond is stronger at lower temperature than at higher temperature. Just to give you an idea, why is lysozyme used in thermally processed products? Okay, so lysozyme, it only denatures partially at temperatures as high as 80 degrees because of the number of hydrophobic interactions present within it, which is different from all other interactions that we have seen so far. The hydrophobic free energy, okay, is a function of no non-polar surface area exposed to water. That is, how much non-polar area is exposed to water. The strength of this interaction is generally 2 kilojoule per mole, which implies for every removal of an apolar group, protein will decrease its free energy by 2 kilojoule per mole. The primary takeaway or the key takeaway is that this hydrophobic interaction, it acts as driving force for maintaining the stability of protein and also for protein folding. So the last of intermolecular forces that help maintain protein stability and contribute to protein folding, they are referred to as disulfide bonds. So disulfide bonding is a covalent bonding that is necessary to maintain the tertiary and quaternary structure of proteins. How are they formed? They are formed essentially when two cysteine containing proteins. So cysteine is an amino acid. When two cysteine containing proteins come together, it results in formation of disulfide. How? Because the cysteine contains sulfahydryl group, which on oxidation yields disulfide. Now, if this disulfide encounters another free sulfahydryl group, it can react with the sulfahydryl group, resulting in destabilization of the protein structure. So this is what happens when microbial cells, they are subjected to certain types of weak acids or chemical preservatives. Most of the time, the structure of the microbial cell is lost due to reaction of disulfide with free sulfahydryl group, causing microbial cell death. The bond energy associated with disulfide bond is 250 kilojoule per mole. The bond energy is high because these are covalent interactions. Just to give you an idea how it destabilizes the structure, there's a diagrammatic representation which I took from Phenema. So if you look at this, you see that there is some sort of distability caused to protein structure. Now, the reaction between sulfahydryl group and disulfide can also occur within denatured protein. Now, what is the key takeaway? This disulfide bond is important to maintain the stability of tertiary and quaternary structure. Okay. Having spoken so much about different types of interactions contributing to protein stability and folding, it is difficult to quantify the interactions and then say, okay, one interaction is far more important than the other. We can only conclude by saying that when you're talking about maintenance of the tertiary or quaternary structure, we have to consider um, principle of additivity of all these interactions. That is repulsive non-covalent interactions plus attractive non-covalent interactions plus covalent disulfide bonds. Thank you for staying with me through the video. In case you have any queries, please feel free to put them in the comment section and I'll get back at the earliest.